So, Joe, welcome in. Happy belated Merry Christmas. And
Merry Christmas, yes. Almost New Year's, almost New Year's.
yeah, it's coming up quick, man. A little bit too quick.
Yeah, well, it can't come fast enough. Um, you know, I'm ready for springtime. Um,
Yeah, we got to do maybe later this week. Later this week we'll try and put together one. You and I were talking earlier. We were talking about trout fishing in Maryland, and you said that was something that was kind of a no go, and I had never heard of that before. So we'll get into that later this
that's another episode, yeah. That is definitely another episode for another day.
Yeah. So, thank you everyone for joining us. Like we said, happy belated Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy soon to be New Year's. Out with the old, in with the new. Joe's gearing up to get fishing in the new year. I know I am. And I'm doing a little bit of hike tomorrow, about 6 miles down on the Appalachian Trail or out on the Appalachian Trail. I'll hopefully have some videos on that for everyone. And like I said, I was hoping Joe would be able to get up and do some trout fishing and record some stuff, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, good news is February 13th, I'll have some bass fishing footage for us.
Cool.
On the good old GoPro.
Yeah, did you get one?
I'm going to buy one tomorrow.
What are you getting, the 9?
Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
That's what I'm probably going to do. I don't think it makes sense to... You said it shoots in 5G, right?
5K.
Yeah. 5K.
Yeah.
5Gs.
What that even means at this point is beyond me, but it looks good. I know when I shoot in 4K on my iPhone, it looks good. I don't know.
Yeah.
If all the latest video I shot down the shore.
It was beautiful. I mean, you know how that always is. The technology changes so quickly, and you feel like if you don't get the newest thing 6 months down the road, it's, oh, you can't shoot in that. You need to be shooting blah, 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 blah. So just figured, might as well get the newest one and see how it goes. Get some mounts for the boats and stuff, and chesties or something.
Yeah, do the chesties. I think that's the right way to do it. But did you get anything good for Christmas?
Not much. I have a daughter, so more giving gifts than getting some money, some clothes. Yeah. Nothing too exciting. How about yourself?
Yeah, a few things. Big reader, avid reader, I'll say now, and being an author or aspiring author, I try to consume as much as possible. So Donna got me. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, I see it. The trout book.
Yeah, so it's Thomas McGuane, The Longest Silence: A Life in Fishing. I just finished, I think it's chapter 3. He was just up in the Newport, Rhode Island area doing some fishing for stripers on the fly. So super interesting. Very good read so far. I'd say it's not your standard novel. It's a little poetic. It's definitely an interesting look at fishing through the years, right? And how life intersects with fishing and how you can kind of have all these memories of fishing that you can begin to frame out your life on. And it did get me this one. I don't know if you've heard of Lords of the Fly.
Yeah, I have Lords of the Fly here, actually.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
So this one is Madness, Obsession, and the Hunt for the World Record Tarpon. So back in the 70s, I believe, there was this place in Florida. I'll give you a full recap on it when I'm done reading it. Place in Florida where the world record tarpon were all meeting, and they said, like, on a morning you would go outside and look over the bay. No, I think it's Biscayne Bay, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. You would see just nothing but white water, and it wasn't white water. It was just that many tarpon as far as the eye could see.
That's great. That's nuts. When you said Lord of the Flies, I was thinking the original Lords of the Flies.
This one's about, this whole thing. It's not just about fly fishing. I think that there's some nefarious characters in it. I believe it's
pirates, maybe.
Ted Williams is in it, because Ted Williams had a place in Islamorada, and he was an avid fly fisherman. So, good old Teddy Williams from Boston Red Sox fame.
He's in the book?
Supposedly. Just, brief overview. I did hear about him on the Tom Rosenbauer Orvis fly fishing podcast. The author Monty Burke was on there talking about it, so it sounded like he was, but I'll give you a full report when I'm done with it, just like I'll give you a full report on this one.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a really cool book.
Yeah, interesting, especially if they don't just focus on fishing, right? I know Monty Burke wrote a book on, it's called Sow Belly. It's about the hunt for the world record bass. And he doesn't just tell the story of fishing. He's talking about how it intersects with people's lives. And, some people go a little crazy in these searches for world records, right? And, or even fishing, right? You kind of take it a little excessive and get obsessive over it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that actually sounds like a really cool story.
yeah, maybe I'll send it your way.
I did get a couple books, but no fishing books. No fishing books. I got money to buy fishing stuff because I don't know. I think it's hard for some people if you're avid fishermen to buy fishing presents for you. It's one of those things. When you fish, you kind of want to pick out exactly what you want. So I did get a couple of dollars towards some fishing stuff. I'll probably pick up a new reel,
Yeah.
probably a rod too.
Woo.
Yeah,
All right.
I love Daiwa reels.
Yeah.
They're my go-to, and I have one rod that does not have a Daiwa reel on there, and I've been dying to take care of that. So
Where are you going to go to pick that up?
Susquehanna, um,
Yeah.
Susquehanna Fishing Tackle up in PA, absolute amazing store. Um,
I love that you take the ride all the way up there just to go there. I mean, that speaks volumes of them as an organization. And I will say I've ordered from them, and of course, because of the pandemic and everything, they didn't have everything that I wanted and that I actually ordered and paid for. They refunded me and sent me this nice little note apologizing they didn't have it, that that they'd notify me when it came back in stock, which I thought was pretty cool.
yeah, they're an awesome shop. I mean, I'm trying to figure out the mileage for me. Susquehanna Fishing Tackle. It takes me about an hour and a half from my house. It's probably about 80 miles, maybe 90. Um, but the store is amazing. The owners, great guys. I mean, I've been in there before, and they spend time talking with their customers. There was this couple in there. It sounded, from what I gathered, they were just getting into fishing. An older couple, and they were going on vacation. And I was in there probably about an hour, picking out tackle I wanted. It was when I was heading up towards CU. I was in there about an hour, and that whole time, the owner was sitting there with him, going through every little detail and explaining everything and helping them pick out all the stuff they needed for where they were going. And it's one of the reasons I love that shop, because there's a lot of times I'll go to bodies of water that I haven't fished yet, and I can say to them, I'm going to Lake X, Y, or Z. Got any tips? And they share. They'll put you in the right direction. Definitely, just great
Yeah,
guys.
no, that's awesome. I'm a big proponent in shopping local, right, to a certain extent. I love my local fly shop. Tight Lines is who I've been going to for years, and Donna will go in there, and partially to say hello to their dog Tippet. It's there's a cute pup that's always around. But also she'll go in there and say, my husband's trying to do X, Y, and Z. Could you, and this is where he's trying to fish. Can you point me in the right direction for flies? And for the past couple of years, she's gotten me a good assortment of flies, for predominantly trout fishing, which is what I've done. Now hopefully going forward, if she's listening to this, maybe some bass flies would be nice, and pike flies, and maybe a musky fly or two. That would be awesome.
Yeah, shops like that are amazing. Yeah, Susquehanna Fishing Tackle for me it's an hour and I just looked it up now. An hour and 20-minute drive. It says 65 miles. And to me, I mean, if it was 110 miles, I would drive the 110 miles to go there. I, Amazing shop. And, around us, there's not many small owned fishing tackle shops around anymore. The big box stores.
Yeah.
We had one down the street from me that lasted probably about a year or so. But now around me, it's Dick's, or, drive an hour to Bass Pro. So to me, that drive is worth it to go to a family owned business with great people in there that really know their stuff, and they really fish, and they fish very well. I think the one owner is actually qualified for the elites,
Oh wow.
Bassmaster Elite Series several times. Quite the
It
fisherman.
seems to me, and I think it's important to say, we're not sponsored by any of these
Oh no.
we're talking about. We we're big advocates, like we said, of shopping local and taking care of these businesses because they're awesome and they're well.
Yeah.
Not to say that the people at Dick's or, you know,
No.
I don't have a Bass Pro Shops by me, so I can't even comment on that. They were supposed to put one down at the Meadowlands at some point, and I think it was a Bass Pro Shop. But I don't think that ever happened. And even then, I wouldn't be driving down there.
No.
I'd rather go to my local shop.
So the Dick's by me, I forget one guy. He's an old timer, and he used to fish the old circuit.
Mhm.
He's really good. He really knows his stuff, and helps as much as he possibly can. It's just the box stores nowadays, none in particular, seem to only carry certain brands and stuff. And like you, I'm just more into supporting locally owned
Yeah.
stores. If you're ever in that area, I think it's Locust Grove, Pennsylvania. I mean, check them out. Like Michael said, we're not sponsored by them one bit. I just love them, and they're great guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've spoken volumes about them, and I think that's awesome. So that brings us to the next point. So, it's 2020, soon to be 2021. Next year is your big year, right? You're gonna you and I are breaking out.
We're breaking out, buddy. We're breaking out one way or another.
If money was no object, what are the top 5 things that you would either get yourself for Christmas, or if you had a significant other or your parents or whatever, if they had the money to buy it for you, what would you ask for?
Well, why don't you start first, Michael, with your first one, and then I'll go.
It's anyone who knows me really well. This shouldn't come as a surprise. But I would say a Land Rover Defender, right? A classic Land Rover Defender. And I don't say that lightly. I'm a big fan of the D90 North American spec, so NAS. I was a huge fan of the yellow D90 convertible for my whole life. And I've got a story about that at some point. I will tell that story about how I lost my opportunity to get one.
You almost had that one. Almost had that one.
It fell away, man. Fell out of my hands.
Happened so quickly.
But what I will say is, and I'm going to share my screen for a moment here. I am actually more intrigued by. Tell me, can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So that is a East Coast Defenders custom made D110. Now, I love the work that East Coast Defenders does. I've been following them for years. I have truly grown into loving these D110s just because of the size. So much more room for activities, right?
It looks like there's a lot of room for activities.
Yeah.
Wow.
But look at this. And they do not, I mean, they spare no expense on these. And of course, you're paying for it. I think we'll get to the price on this in a moment. But like, if you know the Land Rover Defender, if you look at the North American spec, they have roll-up windows. These are V8s, very, like, a good amount of torque, no horsepower whatsoever. They are a dog on the highway to get up to speed. And this is a 110. It's probably heavy. We know that is heavier. But look at that price tag. $219,000, 995. And I'm pretty sure that this is the Chevy Corvette engine in here. It's the, what is it, the LT4?
LT4, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So that would be my number one gift to either myself or to receive if money was no object. I love this color. I think that's incredibly sexy. And I love the black wheels. I love the winch.
Yes, that is.
This would be my daily driver.
That's a tank. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. So right now, my number one would be Bass Boat. Fully decked out Ranger, top of the line, 21 foot, all the bells and whistles. It would probably be around, if I put everything on there I'd want to build, you'd be talking 89, 94,000, maybe 100,000. That would be number one for me.
Now, how many times have you built that boat out?
Myself? Oh, geez. Through different companies, not even just including Ranger, at least 100, at least. You go to their sites and you can build them out. There's other companies have done it too, gone to their sites and spec them out, and that would be number one. That would be number one. Would be the boat. Completely.
I don't blame you. And we'll come to my number 2 and number 3 on my list, but I think a bass boat to me is it's high up there. It doesn't make my top 5. I think it's because I have the canoe and I figure I can do it, and I'm not doing tournaments, so it doesn't really matter. And
Right.
eventually, I'll probably get like a John boat of some sort for a couple $100 and put a trolling motor on it, and I'm good to go.
Right.
But for you, 100%, I that Ranger, and I told you that story about being up at that one lake, and the guy showed up with like $100,000 brand new
Oh, yeah.
Ranger with the power poles, and I'm just looking at the guy like, oh my god, how much did you spend on this boat? It looked brand new. I'm like, you never use that thing, do you? Never.
No, there's some people out there who have that life kind of where money is nothing, and they go out and they spend it. I mean, the one day we were out on the lake, we saw a guy who was bass fishing from a Ranger. You remember he was laying down on the front of the boat? We were like, what the hell is he doing? You
Oh
remember that?
yeah,
After
yeah.
you were magnet fishing, we're like, what the hell is this guy doing? I mean, brand new range, completely decked out, and he was like fishing, laying down. Like we couldn't figure out what he was doing.
People are strange, man. But who knows? He might have been having a back spasm or something. I don't know.
Maybe it was very bizarre. But hey, to each their own. What would be your number 2?
So my number 2, and I think if you know me, it probably shouldn't come as a surprise once again, is you ready for this one? It's gonna be, and I'm gonna share my screen here, so it's right there when we're ready. Come on. Hacker Craft.
Oh yeah.
Twin Sport. Now, completely refinished, $389,000.
How much was it? You said
$389,000. Now, these are handmade boats. I had the liberty of going to see Hackercraft, and there's some family history supposedly there. I don't know. I've never researched it, but their factory on Lake George, or their shop on Lake George, is absolutely stunning. And these boats are just, look at this thing, like handcrafted, up and down, just unbelievably sexy. Now, the organization themselves, of course, I need to move this. So hold on a second. We're going to go to available pre-owned. Now, every so often they'll have a classic on here, like and they don't have it right now. They had like a 1930s Hackercraft on here, and it was only $90,000. Here's one.
90,000.
A 2022 foot Sport, and it's still 97.5. Like, these boats are meticulously crafted, beautiful mahogany boats, and just look at that, like, stunning, absolutely stunning.
It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely.
And you better believe I'll fish from it.
That would be something to say. That would be really something crazy to see.
What about you?
Oh, FJ40, Toyota FJ40, completely rebuilt. I can't find the name of the one company. I always forget their name. But
Icon.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, be the Icon FJ40. And same with your Defender. You're talking $100,000 on up to easy 200,000. Absolutely beautiful trucks, and you could take them anywhere. Yeah. I would get a 40 and probably a 45. My buddy rebuilds these trucks. Back in the day, they weren't as popular and they weren't as expensive.
Yeah.
They've kind of taken off here in the past 10 years, and the prices have skyrocketed.
That's awesome. Yeah,
people don't realize Toyotas. How do I share screen again?
On the bottom. Hold on. I gotta.
Oh, share.
Try now.
There we go. This is not the color I would get, but can you see that?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Toyota makes a hell of an off-road vehicle.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know Icon very well. They're beautiful, beautiful vehicles. Yeah. So sticking with you for a moment, what would be your next?
Oh, a house down south. Somewhere down south that's close to the ocean and close to great fishing. all in the same breath. Somewhere where it's nice weather pretty much year round. I understand the South does get cold during the winter, so I understand that fully. But to be able to live down there and be able to fish amazing bass fisheries and be able to get in the ocean, in the bays, and amazing fishing and
Yeah.
nice weather, that's the close number one with the bass boat.
Yeah.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Right. Right. And I'll say that for my next one. I think that, my 3 and 4 go hand in hand. I want a center console boat and I want a house in the Keys that I can park it at.
Right.
Um,
Clewiston, Florida area, a lot of pros live down around there because, you know, you got the Keys, you got Okeechobee's right there, and all these other great fisheries, and pretty much southern Florida is warm weather year round. I mean, they do get the cold snap here and there, but I would be happy in South Carolina, Georgia, Christ, even southern North Carolina.
yeah.
Be able to have those opportunities to fish great fishing year round.
So what else is on your list there?
Next one would have to be like considered offshore boat, and a good offshore boat that you could either take in the bays or take out in the ocean and have fun with. And that would just go hand in hand with the bass boat, the house down south, and then your salt boat.
Yeah. I think that's my center console, right? I'm not looking to do super deep sea fishing, but I think if I have a nice, Grady white with, four engines on there, I think I'll be quite all right on that.
You'll be quite all right. Right. I mean, even I can speak, my mother has a place down in Indian Beach with the southern Outer Banks, and they call them sounds, or all the back bays connect to all these towns, and everybody down there has their Bimini's, or their Grady's, and great living, fun time. I mean, or if you watch Brett Barley, who's a pro surfer, I mean, he lives gnarly Barley lives, in Hatteras, around Hatteras, Buxton, and flat days he's out there fishing on his jet ski.
Oh yeah. See, I think
that's
cool.
living.
I saw there's a guy, I'm gonna forget his name. I'll try and put it in the show notes. Out in Hawaii, he bought a jet ski and he fished.
Oh, it's
I can't think of his name.
He dates the one girl surfer surfs pipe all the time.
Yes. He oh my God, his videos, man, are awesome from the jet ski.
He does a lot of spear fishing and everything.
Yeah. Well, to round out mine, and I'll come to a caveat on this, I would say I want a ranch in Montana or Idaho, riverfront. Haven't quite made up my mind what riverfront yet, but a nice hundreds acres of property ranch with horses.
That's on mine too.
Yeah. So you have maybe we could share the ranch. We'll save some money.
We'll split the ranch. What's his name? The famous country singer. Waylon Jennings? Waylon
Jennings.
Yeah, I think he had his beach house, and he had his Texas house, and he had his Wyoming ranch, and
it's the dream.
Yeah.
Now I'd say if for some reason I couldn't have both houses, right, for whatever reason, or both boats, I would say my next, is the Wyatt Earp Colt 45 revolver. So it's the actual Wyatt Earp's revolver. I love collecting antiquities. I think that's so awesome. And then with that, I would want, if I could get it, Blackbeard's sword that they found. Supposedly it's his sword.
It's down in North Carolina?
Down in North Carolina, yeah. If I could get
that's actually real close to where my mother's building her house.
Queen Anne's Revenge, man. Let's do it.
Well, the town Beaufort is across the bay, and that's where they found the ship off of. We go to Beaufort when we're down there pretty regularly. Well, it's about, 10, 15-minute drive.
Well, let's go. Dude,
we need to go because you need to go down there because every year they had this pirate festival that runs like a week long.
It's
a fun time.
Rover. I think it's awesome.
It's down there heavy. It's cool.
Well, this was just kind of a quick little recap from Christmas. Like I said, we'll try and do another one this week. I know it's New Year's week, so we'll try and get it in for release on Friday for New Year's Day. We'll have story time with Joe to learn about the trout issues in Maryland.
Wouldn't be complete without a ranger.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope
everybody.
Short form. And Joe, always a pleasure, man.
All right, buddy.
All right, bro. Bye.
You know, like I did there, as brother and buddy together. Bruddy.
Nice.
All right, Bruddy.
Bruddy.
I'll talk to you, man.
Later.
Later, dude.
All right, so that was the Hacker Outdoors podcast. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to or watching this on. Please check the show notes for some of the links about the topics we discussed today. And as always, please go ahead and check out our Anchor site via our Linktree or any of the other links that we have posted around social media to leave us a message if you'd like to be included in one of our future episodes. I thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later this week. Take care.